Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Good evening.
Let's get it started in here.
Welcome home. You're listening to the best non-professional advice show on the planet, on your home for overnight low-back session. This is the Stock, Jock, and Roll Show on daytradingradio.com.
Yeah.
Money never sleeps, pal.
Trading stocks, futures, options on futures, and retail off-exchange foreign currency transactions involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources. You may lose all or more of your initial investment. Opinions, market data, and recommendations are subject to change at any time.
Good evening, everybody. It's 9 p.m. Eastern. This is the Stock, Jock, and Roll Show. This is Charlie, aka Prolong Wealth on Twitter. And I'm getting ready to call up my partner Jeff, aka JKSTL21.
All right, I am here.
Hey, good evening, Jeff.
Good evening, Charlie.
Gonna have a very, very interesting show tonight. I don't know what to expect because we're going to probably encounter some technical difficulties because that usually seems to always happen.
Murphy's Law.
But we're going to try something new tonight. And we're going to try a round table of sorts where we're going to have some participants come on and talk a little tech talk tonight.
That's right. We're borrowing from RPM. We have to give him credit, Charlie. RPM is the original tech talkster.
He is, and his show is back as well, and it's every Tuesday night, same time as this, 9 o'clock Eastern, so be sure to tune in to RPM's Tech Talk Live, and we're just doing a little Tech Talk roundtable to follow up on the CES Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas last week and have a little interesting discussion. So, someone's joining us. I think it's Josh, Blue Horseshoe.
Here I am.
Hey, good evening, man. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Great. I haven't seen you since before the holidays. Happy New Year, man.
It's been a while. Same to you guys.
Yeah.
Good to finally meet you, Josh. Congrats on the new family edition I heard about.
Got my hands full.
Oh, I know you do. He made up.
First baby in Dallas.
Was it? You had the New Year baby?
Well, in our hospital and in Dallas, there was someone in Tarrant County that had a baby like 50 seconds after the New Year. Ours was born at 12:10, so 10 minutes after.
Wow.
Wow, very nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Josh posted a great chart of LinkedIn last week and had a nice run, but I don't know if you had any left of what you were holding. Did you get stopped out today?
You there?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Josh. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No. I took profit the next day after that big run up.
So I didn't know if you tried to hold on to a runner or not, but
no, because I didn't have much of a position.
Okay. But that was a good chart you posted, and man, I wish I would have jumped on it.
You know, I should have posted it the day before, when with the that bottom channel line because I took it going into that. So
Yeah.
and I got out the next day. Like I said, I had a small.
I'm gonna try to. I know Darren is. Hang on, I'm gonna turn my sound down here a little bit. I know Darren is out there because he's DMing me here, and Roxanne emailed me. So here comes somebody. Hey, that looks like Roxanne.
Oh, hi. Hi,
Hi.
Charlie. How's it going?
Good. Nice to meet you, Roxanne. Good evening from California.
That's right, LA.
Yes, yes. Well, we've got so far myself, my partner Jeff. Say hello, Jeff, to Roxanne.
Roxanne, how are you?
I'm doing outstanding, Jeff. How about you?
That is great. So am I for a Monday. Excellent. Very excellent. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, yes, my pleasure. Thank you so much for the invite. This is my very first foray into this Google Plus circle
Well,
here.
awesome. Well, considering that I think you tweeted everything about the CES last week, I don't know how many tweets I read of yours. You know, we're glad to have you on because I think you're probably pretty much up to speed on a lot of these. I bet you have definitely a lot of thoughts and call it opinions on some of these items.
Yes, I am. I have been following them just about for the entire week, and I know that you were pretty big on this the Pebble Steel watches. I think you tweeted some information about it or a video.
Yeah, I was really excited about that Pebble watch. It's for sale even, and I went back to look at one I wanted to buy, and it had sold out.
It sold out? Oh my gosh! Doesn't it go for like a whopping $250?
Yeah, but you know that's not bad for a stainless steel watch that does what it can do. They actually have some that aren't stainless steel that are as low as $150. But if anybody wants to see anything on it, their website is getpebble.com. I guess when Samsung came out with their Galaxy Gear watch, you know, last summer, I got a little excited about their watch. But after a lot of the reviews and stuff, I wasn't interested in spending the kind of money that they wanted to charge for their watch.
I can imagine. Yeah. Now, Charlie, one question I have about these smart watches. Do you really see a trend here? Because when I think about them, I go, well, you know, I've got my phone. It does just about everything, if not more, than the so-called smartwatches do. So don't you see a little bit of redundancy there?
I do have, and we'll get to that in just a second, Roxanne. Let me see you. I'm going to send another invite back to Darren. We've got one more to join us. And let me send it to him, see if we can get him on here. I believe Darren, he's definitely on the side that he doesn't see all that much utility in the smartwatch.
I'm with him on that.
So Josh is also with him.
I am too. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, Charlie, and I kind of feel the same. I don't know. I don't. Well, I could be wrong.
I think we've got Darren on here.
Awesome.
Hey, Darren.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey, we got ourselves a full Google Hangout tonight. This is great. Darren is joining us. He's also from Dallas, Texas, and a good friend and a mentor of me. And I'm glad to have you on, Darren. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to join us tonight to have some tech talk roundtable discussions. You know how sometimes we just debate on Twitter. Now we can kind of debate without having to worry about, 164 characters.
I know, right? Yeah, thanks for having me, Charlie. As soon as you asked me, I got really excited, so it should be a lot of fun.
Well, good. Well, Roxanne is also with us. She's from California, and she kind of started out the round table by talking just a little bit about the smartwatches. And she had saw that I had tweeted some stuff about the Pebble Watch and how I thought it was kind of interesting and my interest in it. So I gave her just a little bit of a background that last summer when Samsung Galaxy Gear Watch came out, I was, kind of excited to see what it was about. Read the reviews, went and checked it out, but it didn't do the things I really wanted it to do for the cost that they were charging for that watch, which was, I think it was originally $299. It may have even been $399 at one point, but
wow.
So her question was, is this a trend? And I don't know if it is a trend yet, but this Pebble Watch looks pretty neat. And there seems to be a trend for wearable devices outside of the phone now, whether it's in the healthy category like the Fitbits or what's some of the other ones, the Body Bug. They're trying to seem like combine some of that healthy activity type of instruments into the watch now and have it interact with your daily functions of your phone. Not necessarily replacing your phone, but being a companion to your phone.
I kind of feel that the smartwatch market primarily targets, I guess it's like the 18 to 30-year-old demographics, and something else about these smartwatches is that I don't think the battery is as long-lasting as with your cell phones. And think about functionality too, Charlie. You got an itty-bitty screen versus the smartphone screen. I think I can do a whole lot more with my cell phone than with a smartwatch.
Yes, no, there's no doubt about that. Here's what I haven't had one to experiment or know if I really like it or not, but here's what I potentially like about it. I like that if I have it on my watch, I have the big phone, the Note 3, which is a big phone. So sometimes if I'm driving in the car, it's just can be too big to handle. But if I had my watch on and I have my hands up at the steering wheel and I get a text, I can just glance down at my watch and see who it is, what it says, and I can then just reach to my phone if I want and hit the mic reply, and or I can see who the phone call's from. I can also I can look down. Sometimes I'm interested. I'm a real weather buff, and so I'm always looking at I can have like a little radar screen on my watch. Even doing like this Google Hangout, on the phone, I use Google Hangout a lot, especially when I travel. I'll call home to my wife, or I'll call a friend and use the Google Hangout. But that'd be great sometimes if I could just do it on the watch and just hold it up and say, hi, how's it going on? This is what I'm going to do. It's kind of like a phone call. And then I don't have a Fitbit or a health item other than the app Map My Run that's on my phone. And it would be nice to have it on the watch, just to be able to hit it and go and have it do all the GPS recording and everything.
I see where you're coming from. I think the one watch that really caught my interest was the TrueSmart. I don't know if you heard about it during CES, but I think it's one of the few, if not the only one, that actually uses a SIM card, and it actually directly connects to your mobile phone provider through the SIM card.
Is it called True Smartwatch? I'm Googling it here to see what it is. It looks like it's...
Absolutely. It's called the Omate TrueSmart.
Okay, it looks like it's something from Qualcomm.
Yeah, I think it uses the, I think it was an Android operating system. And, you're able to make and receive calls from the device itself. And you can use the Bluetooth headset.
So I'm going to try to screen share and see if I can get this up. This appears to be a copy of the watch that you're talking about right here. I didn't see any information on this watch, so I will definitely go and check it out. I was drawn to the Google Watch or to the Pebble Watch simply because I heard about it. It was one of the top 10 apparently listed items at the CES.
Yeah.
And when I looked at the video and saw it was a stainless steel watch, similar to something that I would wear every day, and not, like the Samsung Gear watch, it interested me. So I'll have to look into this watch too. But Josh and Darren, what do you think about these smartwatches? I mean, a lot of people keep waiting for Apple to come out with a smartwatch. Maybe they're smart to not come out with one.
Well, I think they're gonna come out with one. I'm almost certain that that's gonna happen. I don't see it being a major trend. Is there gonna be a space for a smartwatch? I think absolutely, because there's gonna be people that are using them. It's very nice. Me and Darren are always running. It's very nice to go, running and have your phone in your pocket and someone calling and not have to stop and pull out your phone and look and see who it is. You could just, look at your wrist and say, oh, well, I'll get back to that person later. Or someone sends you a direct message on Twitter, you can check it on your watch, stuff like that. It's convenient, but I don't think it's enough to really stay in
Right. I actually agree with Josh on that. And I always told him my biggest concern with it was the fact that I just think it ends up going the way of the Segway, which, remember, that was going to be like the next best thing, and everybody was going to be moving around and mobile with it. And it turned out to be a complete flop. And I just think that the tech consumer, when you get out of the people like us who are really niche and really into tech and gadgets, the general Apple customer, I don't think is interested in wearable technology outside of an iPod Nano or an iPhone or an iPad.
Right.
I don't think they're gonna accept wearing a watch. And I mean, it sounds cool, and I'm sure it has amazing functionality, but I don't know if it'll ever be accepted by the masses.
And if Apple comes out with one, it's going to sell.
Yeah, it will. They'll sell it based on brand name alone.
Exactly, because it has Apple on it, and because they're going to market the quality of it, which will probably be really good. But I don't think that it sticks around though.
Right.
Yeah, the Apple cult, as they call it. But I agree. I think it's a passing fad. Primarily, and if I'm exercising and I'm running, the last thing I want to be doing is checking my email,
Right.
answering phone calls. I don't want to be bothered with that. I want to focus on my fitness. So I think it's gonna be a passing fad. But that specific smartphone that I was telling Charlie about, that one caught my eye because I've never seen anything like that one before. With a full color screen. Uses a SIM card. You can make and receive phone calls. That's pretty high tech.
Yeah.
So
You know what I want to see? Speaking of timekeeping devices, why can't we make a big like Flavor Flav or Flava Flav size clock that you wear around your neck, like the one he wore, and that'd be your smartwatch or your smart clock? Fight the power.
All right.
that went right over my head.
Public Enemy. So you guys know who Public Enemy is, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Flavor Flav wore that big clock on his chest, Charlie.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
in time, the smartwatch will be about as popular
As a Flavor Flav clock.
As a Flavor Flav clock. Clock.
Well, if it's not a smartwatch, what about just the sports gear? I mean, what about like the Nike Fuel Bands and Jawbones and the Fitbits and As those develop, why not just have it sync with your phone? I don't know if any of you guys own any of those. I mean, I know you guys all are runners and
Yes,
stuff.
I do. Yes, I do. I do. The Nike band, sport band. As a matter of fact, I just finished recharging mine.
What? Oh, that's interesting. I run in Freeze, Nike Freeze. What does the sports band? What all can it do? Does it like monitor your heart rate?
Oh, the Nike. Can you see it?
Yeah,
I'm holding it right now.
Yeah, I can see it.
It's actually very affordable. I think it goes for like $69. It sends and receives data through a little transmitter that you put inside your sneaker. Now, it actually tracks your distance, your pace, the calories burned, current time.
Wow.
And once you're done, all you gotta do is you remove it from the band, and then you see it's got a USB port. You just stick it into the computer, and it downloads information.
That's awesome. I think I'm gonna get one of those.
Definitely, and it's like I said, it's very affordable. And another big plus about the Nike Sport Band is that you can actually connect with, I think it's one of the largest running clubs on NikePlus.com. You can view your runs, get training advice from friends on the network. So it's very useful and so user-friendly.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, Charlie, I'm kind of at a cross. I mean, I like a lot of the tech fitness and stuff like that, but it's just something about a smartwatch that I just can't wrap my mind around.
I'm with you on that, Darren. Yeah.
So, is my thought of me getting a Pebble Watch more that it doesn't really do anything for me other than to walk into a room and have people go, "Hey, what's that on your wrist?"
It's a conversation starter.
It's sort of like last summer when I tried using Google Wallet all summer on my vacation, and I knew that it was going to fail most of the time, but wanted to see people's reaction to it. Maybe that's my like of the smartwatch, but I may give this Pebble smartwatch a try, but I am waiting to see what the Samsung second generation of the Gear looks like when it comes out. And I really would like to see what Apple does if they do something, because I have a feeling whatever they do put out is going to be really good. And I think they could sell a ton of them if they put it out and did it right.
But isn't that amazing though? Like, me and Josh talk about this all the time. But the psychology of the consumer and the fact that if the hardcore geeks at Android create something, they don't get that mainstream consumer. But if Apple does it, all of a sudden it's really cool and it's innovative and everybody has to have one. I just think that's so fascinating how Apple can do that. And I don't even know of another retailer that can do that.
Well, what's interesting is Google goes laughing all the way to the bank on it, because they just sit back with their Android and let everybody build these devices. And that's one of the issues, that there's so much thrown at people. There's so many different ways to go. When you get into the Apple environment, they can kind of have control. And to some degree, that's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, Darren, have you read the Steve Jobs bio, or any of a number of books out there that talk about the Steve Jobs story of how he created Apple?
Yeah, I saw the movie, and then I actually have the book right here.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Okay. So you are familiar with how he created the company, and again, I give him credit because he was big on innovation and nearly flawless products. And I don't know how many in here saw the movie Jobs, but I thought it was a pretty accurate portrayal of Jobs and his company. And basically it's a very elitist company. And although I use their products because I've got an iPhone, I've got the iPad, but when they, if they create a smartwatch, will I buy it? Probably not.
Right.
Probably not.
Right.
I think their biggest plus has been their branding. You know,
Yep.
they know how to sell products. You know, and it might not be no better than something else. You know, but they know how to sell products, and they make good quality stuff. They really, really do. You know, when you go into the Apple store, your iPhone's got water damage or something, the battery went out of it, and they just give you like a brand new phone. That's an incredible thing. Not a lot of places are gonna do that.
And maybe so, but remember, they're still lagging behind on the computer market share.
Right. That's the thing.
PC's rule. Come on now.
Well, and the other thing is you have to ask yourself, that's a very thin line to walk. You know, like what you were saying, Josh, they know how to sell things. How many people, how many CEOs, how many visionaries can force something down your throat, right? That was Steve Jobs' whole approach to sales was, I know what's best for you. I'm going to dictate what you want.
The consumer doesn't know.
Yeah.
And even more so, how many can take something that's already been done and kind of repackage it,
right,
and then sell it and brand it as this is the greatest thing you've ever seen.
Right.
And that's the way that most of their stuff is. I really haven't felt that Apple has been innovative or cutting edge since the very first iPhone. You know, maybe with the iPad.
I was going to say
I feel that shortly after that, Google, they've just completely run away with the whole tech innovative thing.
Well, I think they've been just a little bit hard-nosed for some of the consumers by not I mean, I probably would have been an iPhone user if, for one thing they would have done is built me a bigger screen to view. And they've just been resistant to that since the very beginning. Now, I've heard rumors, of the last year that they're going to break on that, but they haven't yet. And I think them just being so heavily against it that no one would want a bigger phone has somewhat hurt them. It's allowed the competition to knock down the door a little bit.
But Charlie, did you guys see the chart? There was a chart that came out like 2 weeks ago, and it showed all the major telecom hardware companies, and it basically had a bar chart of how much each of them, and it ranked them, how much each of them spent on R&D as a percentage of their revenue. Apple was the lowest ranked.
Really low, yeah.
Yeah, and so but it shows in their product offering
absolutely
that they're not reinvesting in R&D at all.
They find something. It's like, we've created this model. It's working. We'll stick with it.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. It shows when every iPhone that comes out looks pretty much exactly the same.
Yep.
So
with just recycled parts.
It's like what Southwest has done with airfares. They're nowhere near the cheapest carrier in many markets anymore, but for 30, 40 years now, they have ingrained that in the public's psyche, and everybody thinks of them immediately. And it's the same way with Apple, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They've developed a brand.
Where's the tipping point? At what point do you become so big and so slow and you refuse to take risks? At that point, you're a pretty fragile organization. And who's to say that Apple couldn't end up, like Kodak or even Microsoft and go sideways for a decade?
Mm-hmm.
I think that you've started to see that, to be honest with you. I think that you've already started to kind of witness that.
Well, didn't Apple close up below its 50-day today, I believe, if I recall when I looked at it earlier. It's back below its 50-day moving average again.
I know in the smartphone market, they finally caved in and offered a cheaper version of the iPhone. for the first time in the Apple history, and it's because, again, Samsung, it's a pretty strong contender.
Yeah.
Samsung is slowly but surely gaining a lot of market share.
I'm probably their number one customer.
Yes, I know. I was thinking about you.
I have Samsung TV, refrigerator. I don't know how many phones, monitors. I like what they have put out has been good.
They make good product.
Yes, they do make good products.
They sure do. But let me ask you something, Charlie. Is your phone as user-friendly as the iPhone? Because that's one quality that I absolutely love about Apple. Simplicity.
Roxanne,
Great point.
You could not give me an iPhone. It could not even do half the things that I'm able to accomplish on this phone on a daily basis. That's the one thing that I can do on this that is truly amazing. All the items that I can do. Is it simplified? Is it a simple user interface? No, it's not, but I'm not looking for simple either. I'm looking for something that I can have all kinds of tasks going. I can have many things going at once. I can sit and pull up a mobile chart if I need to.
You also have extra batteries too, right?
Not anymore. Not since the Note 3 came out and the Note 2. The Note 2 and the Note 3, I no longer have to carry an extra battery. These things hold a tremendous charge and usually will go all day. And the great thing about the Note 3 is they came out with a new charger for the Note 3, and when you put this thing on a charge, it charges unbelievably fast. Like within 45 minutes to an hour, it's almost back to a full charge.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it's faster.
One of the things about the Samsung devices is, I think, kind of missed it, or what Android is about. It is as simple as you want it to be. If you want it to be vastly complex, it is.
Right.
But if I can make the phone of my screen look just like an iPhone. And I have an iPhone 5 for work. I don't even use it. I use my phone because I can't stand it.
Yeah, Josh, you are so right. I upgraded my dad's phone in order for me to be able to get a new phone. I gave him my phone, and I dumbed it down. There was I forget what it's called, but it basically loaded call it a senior software, where things were in block style, and it was very simple. And I could explain to him, hey, this is my number. This is where you call me from. This is where you get your voicemail, and I essentially dumbed it down and made it simple for him, and he uses it today.
I mean, you could on an Android phone, a phone like the S3 or the S4 or the Note, you could have just one screen of widgets of whatever he would need to use, and there you go.
Right.
It's no simpler than that.
What about security though? I've never had a breach of any sort of security on my iPhone. On my MacBook, I have an iPad, a MacBook, and an iPhone. And I don't have any issues, but I heard that Android has security issues.
I would suspect if there were real security issues, as many Android customers that there are, it would be a really known problem. I haven't run into any security issues. I don't know anybody that has. My security issues I have is when I go to a restaurant and hand somebody my credit card and they walk away to the back. Right. That's where I've been hit right. hard before. But I'm not aware. There may be, Darren. I'm not aware of any, but there's nothing about it that I've read that makes me afraid to use the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never had any issues with it either. I'm sure they're coming though. I mean, just like with everything else. Right. I'm kind of surprised actually that we haven't seen more in the way of compromise or breach on cell phones up to this point.
Well, you know what? This could be a very great segue into the next topic. And the next topic was going to be, what about cashless devices on your phone, such as Google Wallet or the PayPal app? To this point, hasn't really gone anywhere, and I think that is probably a lot to do with security and people just not sure about it. Has anybody of this group here? I know I have, and I think Josh has, but Roxanne or Jeff or Darren, have you guys used any of the cashless payment systems?
I use PayPal, Charlie, and I've been using it for a couple of years now, primarily through either eBay, Amazon. I think more and more stores are accepting PayPal for payment purposes, and it's great. I can store my credit cards in there, and that's what I use. I don't have the Google Wallet, so I'm not too knowledgeable about that service.
Have you downloaded the PayPal to your app to try to use your phone somewhere?
Actually, no, I haven't.
I haven't done that either. What is it? What's the one that Jack Dorsey, the Twitter founder, created? That's the
Square?
Square, yeah.
Square.
Oh, yeah.
That was except the payment methods.
I got one of those here too. If
You
want to
plug
give
it
me
in
your
and
credit
swipe the
card,
credit card?
Yeah.
I'll take your credit
Square's
card
pretty
tonight.
cool.
So is that more or less secure than using like Google Wallet or PayPal on a mobile basis, or same risk there? Somebody can steal your information either way.
Well, I don't think it's any different than swiping a credit card at the counter. At a counter, really.
Yeah, I agree.
You know.
Well, and honestly, like, I actually like the idea of the digital currency a lot. The cryptocurrency, digital currency, whether it's Bitcoin or Google Wallet. Actually, one of my favorite apps to use on my iPhone is the Starbucks app.
I was going to talk about that.
Oh, interesting. I don't know
I
about
was going to talk about that. They nailed it. Starbucks nailed it.
They nailed it. Schultz nailed it. It is such a fun app. It makes spending money. It gamifies spending money. It's so cool because you obviously have your own Starbucks currency, and it's linked to your PayPal account, and you can literally, when you run out of cash, you can just confirm it, and it automatically transfers the money over into your Starbucks account, and it makes the transaction so fast and so efficient. I just go up to the register, I order my Americano, he scans my app, and I'm done.
Very nice. I did not know.
All right, I like
Starbucks.
Darren. If Darren drinks Americanos, I like him already.
Oh, I love Americano. That's every morning. Every single morning, it's an Americano with soy.
Why you need? Yeah, something simple. Why do you got to throw all that other garbage in there? You know that everybody has to spend 5 minutes explaining to the barista how they need their drink made.
And it's the funny thing about that is it's cheap as hell too.
Yeah.
You can get a grande for $2.78.
Yep.
Oh, no, you know what? Unless you own stock on Starbucks, I recommend get yourself a coffee machine, get a Keurig, and you're saving yourself a lot of money, okay, on coffee, a lot.
Darren wants somebody to prepare it for him.
I was going to say, if you get a Keurig, then you have to fix it yourself versus walking in and ordering it.
Yeah, and plus, like, the Keurig is cool, but I haven't found... I mean, that espresso from Starbucks is so good, to me anyway.
But now, Darren, do you know that Starbucks came with their own coffee system? I think
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that on a friend of mine. They live in an apartment complex closer to the Galleria, and inside their clubhouse, they have one of those Starbucks machines, and it's really cool. Like it's
or something like that.
Yeah, I took a picture of it, put it on Instagram. But it's crazy expensive though. I think at least the big one is.
Actually, I thought it was just $200 for the unit. But my question is, does the coffee compare to the one that you sample at the actual store? At Starbucks, is it like the same quality?
I wonder. That's a good question.
On the coffee that you're using.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Charlie, if I'd have known we were going to get into Starbucks, I'd have done a little prep work for that story on Exit 6 Pub and Brewery.
Well, it's interesting that Darren had said that about Starbucks because I didn't know about the app, and I think I noticed McDonald's has an app that you can download now, and like you can put some money, and they may do something similar. But last summer I thought the Google Wallet was pretty cool because I could load it on my app, and I didn't have to worry about pulling out a credit card or anything, and you just tap it on the register. Problem I ran into is it worked about 50% of the time at McDonald's and 50% of the time at Shell, and those are like the only two places you could go with it. And they had, MasterCard and Visa, everybody else doing everything they can to thwart Google from coming up with a way to do it, and they've been able to do that. Now, Google just changed within the last month or so. And Darren, or Josh, you had gotten a Google Wallet card, and I saw you post a picture about it, and I did not realize that Google has pretty much abandoned their old way of using it, and they're going to this Google card. And so I requested a Google Wallet card to be sent to me on yesterday. I guess it was yesterday or Saturday, and it's similar to maybe what I don't know. Have you used that card yet, Josh? Your Google Wallet card?
I haven't. I'll try to grab it. It's right here. I haven't used it yet, though. I've got money on it. You can just transfer it through. It's linked to your accounts the same way that you pay for apps, or if you buy a movie off of YouTube or whatever. It's all linked to the same way. But Google offers their Groupon service, but I haven't used it yet. I haven't really had a reason to, and that's kind of my. I don't really know where this is going to fit in.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's nothing more than a prepaid debit card.
I was just about to say that. That's what it seems like to me too.
Aside from sending your wife to the grocery store and putting $100 on it, so she doesn't spend any more than that, or your kid goes on a field trip,
Perfect.
or something like that. I really don't know what you would use it for.
I don't know either. It's definitely not as good as the way their app would, but I think they did this deal in conjunction with MasterCard, and they're doing a partnership with MasterCard on this whole thing.
Right.
And I think it's something to help break down the walls of a cashless payment system. And I think they're just trying to go a different route right now to see how that they can come through the back door, maybe with MasterCard, and eventually they can hook up that way. That's my only guess at it. I had somebody in our chat room, Sunny. She said, "Well, why don't we just use cash?" And I can't. I don't have cash anymore. I very rarely. I only keep dollar bills on me. And it's not for what you think.
Boy, you beat me to the punch, Charlie. You knew you were going to get hit on that one.
It's simply for tipping, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, technically, you really didn't negate the premise there by saying that either.
Technically not.
I think it's just going to be it's a stepping stone to me. That's the only thing I can see it. I really do think that we'll go more towards the total cashless, just using your phone. Type deal. I absolutely love the Starbucks method. I mean, it's a great thing to go. Me and Darren, I can tell you more times than I can seriously count. We went running, and then we go over to Starbucks right after, and one of us has said, well, I don't have my wallet. And the other one, well, I got my phone right here, man. Just use mine, and you just get it next time or whatever, all the time.
So And honestly, it's so much more. I feel like it's so much more secure than cash or using my debit card. Like, I love the expediency of it. I think it's I love the idea of. I'm even into the whole cryptocurrency. Like the idea of a truly free market currency that's not pegged or controlled by any central governing body. I think that's an amazing concept. And I can only hope that it only gets better, and we'll be able to use it every day.
Now, Charlie, you mentioned the cashless system here, but is anybody on the panel, have you guys invested on Bitcoin? And isn't that something similar?
I think it's exactly what Darren's probably referring to.
Right.
And yes, I have bought a few Bitcoins. I've sold a Bitcoin. I'm still holding a few more. And I'm still up on it at the moment, but I'm not playing big in it. I'm just experimenting with it. Essentially, I was just going through the process of buying some Bitcoins.
My only concern with that is it's not it can't be controlled to one thing. There are literally, I don't know if you guys know, but there are like 10 of these already, of these virtual currencies. There's Bitcoin, there's Litecoin, there's Peercoin. There's Coin. There's there's a bunch of them. How do you, I don't? That's the part that I don't understand.
Yeah. It's got to be standardized somehow.
Exactly.
Because it was just like that's the way it was like back in the beginning of the money system, right? That's part of the problem we had. There were like 10,000 different currencies out there.
Right.
Exactly.
And nobody knew how to value or what was worth what or any of that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my concern, is that how does that all play out? But I think that if that somehow gets worked out, and maybe when someone like Google or Apple or someone big, when they step into it, they might be able to help get that figured out. I don't know, but that's.
But Josh, man, I think the fact that it's not pegged to anything is probably the beauty of it. I like the idea that politicians and policymakers cannot influence a currency, and that is truly a free-floating currency.
Yeah.
And within Bitcoin, you have to keep in mind there are mechanisms already built in to limit the supply of it. So you can't just print you can mine a Bitcoin.
If you had a 3D printer, what if you had a 3D printer?
But I think
Could you print one?
But the problem is that, say we all want to do business with each other, but I got U.S. dollars, Darren's got pesos, Charlie's got Canadian dollars, Jeff has rupees, and we want to somehow transact. How do you do that? And I think that's what's going on right now.
Right.
With these different currencies. It's just that Bitcoin is by far the most popular.
Yep, and then you're not going to have. How do you got to have the whole exchange rate issue that you have? Yeah.
You've got 10, of whatever your currency is, but my one currency is worth 1,000 of one of yours. So I don't, and that's going on. You've got Bitcoin at $1,000 for one, and then you've got Peercoin at like 2 cents.
Yeah, and for those that have been timing the market, they have done a killing when they invested in Bitcoin a while back. I mean, this past year, it has skyrocketed.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and the idea is to sort of let like a Darwinian type situation play out, where you got all these currencies, and the best and the strongest will eventually emerge, and that will be the one that we all use and we all accept.
But then what stops someone else from coming along and making another one?
Market forces. I mean, I just think that, I guess my concern is, and I don't want to put my tinfoil hat on, but I think down the line, not now, based on the things that they look at, but I think down the line we are going to have inflationary problems. And I think the idea of politicians not being able to print money whenever they want to, and for us to have a truly floating currency that's based on pure supply and demand is a good thing. Now, do I agree with you, Josh, that there needs to be some sort of liquidity provider? Because if you try to buy a Bitcoin, there's some pretty seedy people at these exchanges.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not, but that's to be expected. The market's inefficient. It's new. But and hopefully, like you said, some of these things can change, but I still think the fundamental idea of it is a really good thing.
But Darren, it's just like when you exchange dollars when you travel, depending on which exchange company you go to, if you're going to get ripped off or not. It's it's a very similar process.
Right. Charlie, what do you think about it? Do you like the whole Bitcoin idea?
I don't know what the virtual currency really does for me. I like just being able to use my wallet, my phone, and not have to use a credit card. What I like to have is one thing to be able to use anywhere I go and be able to choose which method of payment I want to make. Do I want to put this on my debit card? Do I want to put this on my American Express when I'm at Costco so I get points? And have one source to do that all on. Right. I don't know what Bitcoin buys me in addition that I can't get if there's other electronic payments. So that's what I don't understand all about the Bitcoin. Would it help? Does it make sense if I have Bitcoins if I travel to London because they take it easier? I don't know. Right. So I don't understand enough, and I am not nearly versed.
What was the process like when you went to buy it? Was it hard? Were the markets really wide? What was it like?
Well, I created an account, and let me pull up my account here. What you do is you just go in and you create an account. It's similar, almost like doing a PayPal account. Like if you're signing up for a PayPal account, you create an account, you link it to your bank system. You get verified, all that goes, and then simply they will show you the purchase price that it's available at right now, and the cost that it takes to actually the exchange or the fees that go in it, and you just buy them and they put it in your wallet and you have it sitting in there, and you can sell them whenever you want to sell them. It's really it's to me it was like a PayPal account.
Wow. Okay. Now, did you have to go through a certain exchange?
I went through Coinbase.
Coinbase. Okay.
Yeah, let me get their URL here, and I'm going to post this in our chat room for the listeners on the Day Trading Radio site. It's Coinbase.com. This is who I went through, and I went through them only because they are supposedly the largest merchant of the largest transaction processor of Bitcoins. Like they do the most exchanging of the Bitcoins, and so that's But when I got my Bitcoins, I got them at like $870. So I didn't get them like at 25 like some people did.
Right.
Yeah.
And right now I'm looking at current buy on my thing is 824. So I'm holding. I'm in the hole. I did sell one last week at $1,000.
Nice.
But I made $170 on it. But yeah. I did it only just to see what it was like. What can you do with it?
Now, Charlie, the process. So explain this to me because I'm really confused on this. If you want to mine a Bitcoin, there's an algorithmic equation that you have to solve in order to create one. Is that how it works?
I didn't have to do anything like that. No. I
mean, not buy one, but if you want to create one, like if you want to create a new Bitcoin, if you want to mine a Bitcoin.
That's where your computer comes in. I've actually, and I have a Coinbase account, but I haven't funded it or anything like that. I just wanted to do it just to see the process. But to mine them, Darren, you pretty much you install some software on your computer, and your computer acts as like a second middleman type interval type system to where it will help the transaction, since there's no central bank and no central computing system where all this stuff is figured out. You can put your computer system up for use.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I do have. Go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
So pretty much. So what it is that there's this kind of free market going on. Well, it needs space and hardware and computing power to run.
Right.
Use your computer. Right. You can use your computer for that.
So basically, you're basically creating a uTorrent.
Pretty much.
Type of. There's a couple of things in the chat room here that people are asking some questions, and one of the guys makes a point here that if Bitcoin did threaten the U.S. dollar, that he thinks that they would just come in and like outlaw it overnight. Is it? I don't know how that would work, even if they tried it, outlaw it right now. It's like trying to outlaw the downloading of videos on uTorrent. It hasn't been done.
Exactly.
Right.
There's something somewhere that I've seen that said that the government has the right to purchase 51% of Bitcoin at any given time.
Well, I mean, they can do whatever they want. I mean, we all know like the broad reach and the power and the resources of the U.S. government. I mean, if they really wanted to shut it down, they could. But I think right now, I don't think it poses much of a threat to the dollar. And so I don't think anybody, no one's going to go trade in their dollars for Bitcoins right now. Right now, it's just a speculative instrument based on a really cool idea.
Exactly, and I don't even think that many stores even accept it. Very few online.
Now, the latest one I heard was Overstock.
Overstock, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Of one that was any consequence.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably did it only for the publicity.
Probably.
Yeah. But I mean, the other thing is there may not be one uniform like digital currency because Amazon may have its currency, Starbucks has their own currency. I think that's probably the inherent flaw in with what Google was trying to do with the Google Wallet. I think that there's going to be so many different fragmented currencies within these companies that no one player may dominate it. It may just be a bunch of small independent currencies that we use to pay for stuff, which is still cool. I mean, if I can pay for stuff from my iPhone, that's still a lot better to me than using my debit card or using cash. I hate carrying cash.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hurdles to jump. You look at some of that. Look at when mobile brought out, what was it, the Speed Pass?
Yeah.
That's kind of the precursor to that stuff, right? Where you just like wave the key fob at it, and it was supposed to just automatically charge your account or something.
But that never caught on. People never.
Right.
And why doesn't this catch on? I mean, it's amazing. I'll go into McDonald's and I'll use my Google Wallet to pay for it, and the people at the register freak out like I'm stealing something from them.
Yeah.
It's just like they don't know that it's available. And then the next question is, I get, man, how'd you do that? What can I get? Can I do that on my phone? And I'm like, what phone do you have? And then I tell them, yeah, just go look and see if there's an app for it. And why is that not catching on? Or is it literally people are afraid of it? It's like a security issue. Like they're just,
I think that's part of it, and I think that there's a lot of technological ignorance out there too.
Right. That's a big part of it.
Nobody knows. Either they don't know about it, or if they do, it's too much trouble for them to try and learn how to actually use it when they can hand the guy at the register $5 for a Big Mac or a value meal or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think that's it. And it doesn't help when you have stories like, did you guys see the story that came out about Target and all the other retailers that came out this morning?
Oh,
was there more to that? They went from 40 million to 70 million, and then
wow.
Yep.
Well,
Neiman Marcus got hit too. I don't know. I didn't see how bad theirs was, but they got hit too. And Target's.
Did you see what Target did today though to help counteract this?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't either.
I posted this. Let me go to it. Let me give you the links, guys. Hold on. Okay, so Target under corporate. I'm trying to figure out. I'm going to post this in the chat room. I'm trying to figure out how I get you guys the link. If you go to corporate.target.com, basically what they are doing because of the issue, they are now giving every customer who shopped at Target during this period free credit monitoring through Experian for 1 year.
Oh, I did see that. I had that happen with me one time. There was a box of some documents that fell off a truck somewhere with Social Security numbers, and I can't remember what company it was. They did the same thing to me, or for me, gave me like 2 years. It's actually kind of a cool service. I don't know that I'd pay for it, but they had to do something about. I mean, they were getting killed in the media. I mean, you got to start cranking out the PR machine there and running damage control.
Damage control, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
Well, I thought it was a pretty neat gesture on their part for anybody that shopped there to give them a year's worth of credit monitoring service. I thought it was a pretty good corporate decision that they came down with. I don't know what that's going to cost them, but that's a pretty neat thing to take advantage of, especially if you shop there and you've never used a credit monitoring service. Here's your chance to get 1 year's worth of it for free to check it out and see what it's about.
Yeah, and I mean, but stories like that don't help. They don't help techies and innovation when you hear stuff like that. People kind of retreat back to their gold bars and their and their old ways of doing things.
Yeah, let's start trading horses again.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what? I wonder what kind of deal they got with that, though, because I would have to imagine, first of all, I wonder what kind of insurance policy they have on something like that happen. I'd like to think that they do, right?
I'm almost certain they have good insurance on something like that.
And also, were they able to strike a deal with Experian, because that's giving Experian exposure to people like I would have never bought that credit protection service, and of course I didn't continue it even after it expired when I got it for free. But they've got 70 million people now that are going to get exposed to their product, however many of them that don't have that already. I think it behooves them to give Target a little bit of a discount because of the audience that now they're exposed to that probably wouldn't give a flip about getting credit protection with Experian. So, and then Target probably had some insurance company write them a check that covered whatever deal they struck with Experian, and it's probably not going to.
That might not even have been Target's idea. That might have been Experian.
Yeah. Who knows? But I sent in my request for an activation code to use that Experian, so I'll go check out Experian now, I guess. But I don't want to keep everybody any more than an hour that we had asked you guys to come on tonight. So
hey, Charlie, I got a quick
yeah,
Charlie,
go ahead.
I got a quick question. I want to interrupt you real quick.
Sure.
What do you guys think we're in another tech bubble? I'm just curious.
Boy, that's a good question.
Well, we may have to have another roundtable.
Yeah. I think we will have to have another roundtable. That is a good question. I think it's something that bears watching, and it depends on how the public reacts to a lot of this stuff, like the wearable stuff that we talked about. And are we going to get like late 90s? Are people going to start jumping on that bandwagon? And is it going to? I would like to think we learned from history, but
I think the minute you start to lose consumers in Facebook and Twitter, you have a problem.
You have a huge problem.
Whenever that fad or whatever it is that we use these social devices on it loses its steam, I think that's when the problem, and if there's nothing that replaces it. I myself, at the first of the year, I deleted the Facebook app off my phone just because it was taking too much of my time. I've found over the last 2 to 3 years, I tweet less than I used to because it took too much of my time. So if I think that's where the downturn may fall, is when any social product starts to wane and doesn't get replaced by some new social product. That's just my guess.
But what about the fact that these companies don't like? And I mean, I know you can't invest on the long haul just based on valuation alone, but it's like, at what point do you have to be profitable to run a business anymore?
Darren, I said that a long time ago about a lot of that stuff, like the Facebook thing. I'm right there with you on that. It's all the value is on paper for a lot of this stuff.
Right.
And there's no tangible real assets there. Where's the liquidity in that? How can you tell me that you're going to turn that into dollars and a return on my investment?
But Facebook has turned profit, haven't they?
Well,
yes, they sure have.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
Twitter
Facebook
has not.
Money. But the issue with Facebook, Charlie, was that there was a serious decline. Like just before the IPO took place, there was kind of a downtrend on ad revenue. That was kind of swept under the rug. So it wasn't whether or not they made money so much as, because the thing is, companies were finding that we don't go to Facebook to shop, to spend money. We go to Facebook to look at kid pictures, talk to mom and dad and possibly grandma, and get off.
Right.
I don't want to be bombarded with Neiman Marcus ads when I'm on Facebook.
Or Farmville requests.
Exactly.
GM ended their contract, I think, for advertising with them.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, I think you're right, Josh.
Because they couldn't justify the money for what they were spending. Goes back to what Darren just said. The proof that people were going there and taking anything away from that advertising just wasn't there.
Yep.
But if I would have to pick one social media between Twitter and Facebook, believe me, I'll go with Facebook, because
definitely.
They're established, they're reputable, great people behind the helm.
Right.
Like Mark Zuckerberg, Sheryl Sandberg, and also if you've been noticing the deal with Twitter, the stock tanked like a rock. I am flabbergasted.
Yeah.
That company, which is not even, what's the word, it's profitable, yet the stock skyrocketed to what, $70-something. Now
It was ridiculous.
it was ridiculous. I know. It's like, what is the mentality of the herd mentality? What's going on? Why are people so fanatical about Twitter? What is it about Twitter?
The thing with Twitter and Facebook, too, is you've got really, while they're both social media, they're two completely different communication mediums.
Right. Right.
I mean, you go to Twitter to sit and feel like you're in a sports bar while you're watching the football game with 500 other people that are on Twitter with you and just quick hit stuff. Facebook, you're using more for communication purposes and, you know, like you said, Darren, talking to Grandma Betty or seeing a picture of her at Christmas or something, and it's kind of two different things.
Well, and the only one of those companies that I think actually got it right, and they truly do monetize, is LinkedIn. LinkedIn has found a way to really monetize and make money. But, you know, and people think I'm crazy. You'll get hate mail on Twitter for even questioning this. But as much as I love Amazon, I'm an Amazon loyalist, I have to wonder, I mean, when is this whole thing, when are you going to make money? For every dollar they bring in, they make a penny. You know, and it's like, at what point do these valuations just become insane, and do people say, you know what, I'm going to need you to prove to me that you can earn profit. Income profit.
Well, Darren, Amazon is a formidable company. As a matter of fact, I'm currently reading the book about Jeff Bezos.
Did it get, Roxanne, did they deliver it via drone to you?
No. Good one. I actually picked it up in the public library. But
I think that's what they're waiting for, Darren. The arrival of the drone army. That's when they're going to start making money.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, that guy though it's very smart, because Amazon has branched out into all these other businesses. Were you aware that Netflix servers actually are leased by the Amazon Web Services?
By the cloud, wow, by the AWS, yeah, wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
That's what I'm saying. They started out with this concept about selling books, you know, and then moved on to DVDs, music, and now it's the whole store. I mean, I'm telling you, they are they're trying to compete with
very innovative.
Yeah, but I mean, that sounds great, and that's really cool for a storyboard. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, I guess, you know, I want to see operating margins and net income, and I want to see real tangible numbers. Like, I get the whole thing that Bezos is trying to do, and he wants to take over the world. He wants Amazon he wants to control via market cap, and that's fine. But I think at some point, you would think at least, investors would hold them accountable and say, you know what, let's make some more money. Let's get a better return on our assets, as opposed to just trying to drive everybody else out of business.
Well, but I mean, I wonder too, to have the online medium as a retailer, which I know they're more than that, but like, you can branch out so much easier than like Walmart can. I mean, you don't need necessarily, I mean, you do need like the warehouse space, I guess, and that kind of stuff, but you have much more flexibility than a brick and mortar place like Walmart, who's reliant probably more on their physical stores and stuff. But it still makes me wonder if they've not really tried to do too much too fast.
Right. And I mean, some of the acquisitions that they've made, like Audible.com, I have Audible on my phone. I listen to audiobooks. That's a great acquisition. I believe they bought Zappos too.
Yeah.
Yes, they sure did.
Yeah, I mean, Bezos is acquiring a lot. I mean, you know, I understand the strategy. It's just only time will tell if it works.
Well, if I had the money, I wish I had invested in the company a while back. I definitely wish, and I see a lot of potential with them. And don't forget, they're going into now space exploration. That's the latest and greatest with him. Yeah. And
that's excellent. So when we colonize the moon, we're going to be able to have things delivered up there, right?
Yeah, and then after that, we'll make money. Exactly.
Oh, and don't forget about the Kindle, though. That was.
But here's the thing. The Kindle itself, the device is sold at a loss in hopes that you'll purchase content on it.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, it's a lot of really complex, funny accounting and gray area. See, that just from an investment standpoint, that type of stuff makes me nervous. You know, when I see that when I can't clearly in a paragraph articulate where your monetization comes from, I'm sketchy on you. You know?
Yeah.
So
That's where you get to my fundamentals, Charlie.
Yes, and you. Speaking of that, I've been watching JCPenney since you've been beaten, and they've been beaten up right there with your Sears.
You know, Jeff, you don't think JCP may get bought out?
You know what? That's actually a good question.
By who? Who's the question?
Right.
Does Amazon want to go to a box store?
That is, Darren, that's a good question, actually. I think that may be, boy, they're in bad shape, but I looked at Sears, like Charlie just mentioned, and Sears is worse off than JCPenney is right now. I don't know. I think they both got eaten up by Target and Walmart, because Charlie and I kind of talked about this. When were we talking about this, Charlie? We talked about how Target and Walmart have somewhat upped the quality of their brands. Like, once in a while I'll buy the Nike mock turtleneck to run in or whatever, but I can go buy 5 of them at Starter or Champion at Target, Starter at Walmart or whatever, and for what I need them for, the quality is good enough. Mm-hmm. But I just think Sears and JCPenney are stuck somewhere in the middle.
Right.
And I think that they're a little bit, their product line is above Target and Walmart, below somewhere like Macy's or Neiman or whatever.
Right.
And I don't know if that customer exists. You're either down here or up here, and I don't know if there's enough of them in the middle, and they're leveraged to the hilt. And
yep.
I think that equity offering that they put out there was clearly, I don't know if that was because they didn't want to take on more debt because their DE ratio was just sky high, or if they did it to lower that. I don't know if the cost of capital to take on more debt was going to be too detrimental to them. I don't know if they couldn't even get financing to take on more debt, and so they had to do an equity. I don't know.
And Darren, if somebody's looking at them, you might wait till they go into bankruptcy, or let them help them figure out a way to get into bankruptcy before you buy them, so that you can start clean. It would probably be advantageous for JCPenney to go ahead and do that here at some point.
Yeah.
Just
well, part of the problem is too, and I guess this is indicative of retail in general, because I don't have a real in-depth knowledge of retail, but I looked at them in Sears and Macy's, and it kind of seems to be the going trend. But if you look at their current ratio, which is just their assets over liabilities due within 12 months, then you look at the quicker asset test ratio, which is their assets minus inventory, the most basic version of it over liabilities. There's a huge gap in there, which tells me that the majority of their assets are in inventory. And while that's considered liquid, but how liquid though? And do you have to fire sale it?
Right, exactly. And you know the other thing too, the flip side of that is that specific consumer, because I would throw Kohl's in there too, because there's a Kohl's across my house, and it is like a ghost town in there. But the consumer that shopped at those places, let's be honest, during the QE rally, that consumer has been wiped out.
Yep.
That consumer is non-existent anymore. That lower middle working class, they've been moved down to poor, working poor.
Yep.
They don't have the disposable income. They're shopping at Walmart now.
Yep, exactly.
I agree with Darren on that, and Sears has changed dramatically from decades and decades ago. And I don't know if any of you have been reading about this one financial analyst for one of the Wall Street firms that actually went to a couple of Sears stores, and he was taking pictures of the what the stores look like, and many of them were in disarray. And posted the pictures, and I think the Sears CEO, somebody came to Sears defense, and bottom line is, as a consumer, I was at Sears probably a couple of weeks ago. I was trying to buy an Xbox One. Well, lo and behold, I couldn't get it. It's been sold out since December or November of last year, and it's been very, very tough. And I've even tried going online, Sears online, and they don't even have
I think all those places have suffered from the Amazon model.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just like Best Buy. You know, if I want some type of gadget and I want to know, you know, say me and Charlie are talking about a phone, you know, the Note 3 or whatever, I'll go and look at it and get my hands on it and feel it.
Yep.
And then I come home and I buy it on the internet.
Right.
Yep, exactly. Where you can get it for 20% cheaper, probably.
Perfect. Perfect.
Well, but
perfect.
see, that's the catch though, Jeff, is that when they actually went, and I know because we do a little e-commerce, like me and my girlfriend, we do a little e-commerce business on the side. And I can tell you that more times than not on Amazon, the price is actually higher
than it is in the actual store?
Yes. And I actually was reading an analyst report where they found the same thing, that like it was something like 40% of the time the Amazon price was actually higher than in store. But the caveat was people love the 2-day Amazon Prime. They love the fast shipping. And so in their mind, when they're getting that gift box on their doorstep every 2 days, that's better than, you know, maybe the discount that I get if I buy it from Best Buy.
Right.
People love Amazon Prime, and that's the big. If you really pay attention, a lot of times there's a premium attached to stuff you buy on Amazon.
But it's not just Amazon. It's that model. It's that online model, and I've got an excellent example of that. I just had a newborn son, you know, and my girlfriend's mother bought him some Infamil, and I can't think of the exact name of it, but she bought it at Walmart. It's like $15.97 for one of these cans. And out of curiosity, I started to do some research online. I bought 10 of those bottles off of eBay in a bundle, new, unopened, from a retailer, and the price of those cans was like $8 a can. And I didn't have to go to the store and stand in line for it. I didn't have to carry it to my car. It took about 10 cans, and it's going to be shipped to my door.
Right.
And I got it for literally half the price of who you would think would be the better price provider, Walmart.
Well, but you're talking about consumables, you know, when it comes to food and drinks and things like that. Probably
what I'm telling you is that
store.
What I'm telling you is that what happens is that you go into the store, you find out what size pair of pants you want, and then you throw them back on the rack, and you go home and you buy them off the line. It's a demo store, is what I'm saying.
Right.
You play with it, you find out what you like, and then you go buy it online. And I've done that. I've went to Dillard's or to Neiman Marcus and tried on a $250 pair of 7 for All Mankind jeans, and then went home and bought the same pair of jeans for $70. Seriously.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean, Josh. But like in terms of electronics, big ticket items,
exactly.
Online stores are almost impossible to beat.
Right.
Think about it.
Right.
The one thing nobody has mentioned: no sales tax.
No overhead, very little overhead.
Right.
Very little overhead, and many of them offer free shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's an unbeatable combination. Of course, people are going to go online. Online retailers have practically killed a lot of the mom and pop stores.
And in addition to that, Amazon was really smart because they figured out we can be a market maker on this, and we'll make, you know, 38% of all the sales on Amazon.com come from third-party sellers. So Amazon is making their fees from independent. The mom and pop have had to go through Amazon FBA, basically.
Somebody else is paying their costs for them, basically.
Exactly. So essentially, we've all become feudal servants or suppliers to Amazon. And so that's another way that Amazon's driving revenue, and I think they'll focus more on that. But they're just becoming a clearinghouse or a market maker to mom and pop that they drove out of business in the physical locations.
Right.
And they will be delivering 5-pound packages or less via drones, okay?
Exactly.
Like Jeff had mentioned earlier. It's going to happen probably 4 years from now.
I want to see the logistics model behind that.
Yeah.
It's coming down the pipe. That's what I read online.
Who's running the ATC system for that?
Well, I mean, that is the one thing that Bezos is great at is spending money and making really cool stuff. So I mean, like their warehouses and stuff are, Amazon was talking about building their own freeway in Seattle.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just specifically for to move their orders, because the way the agreement works is, if I'm a small mom and pop independent seller, Amazon says, hey, we will fulfill all your inventory in exchange for taking a third of whatever you sell. And that's really the model. So they have the technology and the resources and the infrastructure.
Right.
And all the third-party sellers go out and find all the stuff and deal with the suppliers and manufacturers. So.
That's some hefty supply chain management. If you're building your own highway,
yeah, I mean,
and you don't even have to corrupt a politician to do it.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, well, he's a billionaire, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is. He's a smart guy.
Very smart. Oh, and that's another thing. He likes to pick people with very high IQs to work.
Wow.
He's a former options trader. He was an options trader for D.E. Shaw before he started Amazon.
Yes, yeah, it's on the book. It's on the book. I highly recommend the book. It's a great book. Yeah.
Charlie, we got to get Roxanne back on here with a segment called Roxanne's Book Reviews.
There we go.
She's obviously an incredibly avid reader.
I am gay.
And movie reviews too.
And I gotta thank the Kindle for that. Okay, it's a wonderful product. I've been using it for the last year and so, and I've been getting a lot of free books through Amazon of all places.
I just got a Kindle just the other day, like 3 days ago, and I absolutely love it.
Congrats! Oh, awesome.
To me, like, they absolutely perfected the whole, digital tablet, reading process. I've always used just the app. Either I'm on my MacBook Air right now, but either on my MacBook or my desktop or my phone or whatever. But I absolutely love the Kindle. What version do you have? Do you mind me asking?
I have I bought it in 2011, so it's not the latest one. I have the Kindle Touch.
Okay, I've got that same one, but not the Touch. The Kindle 4, but it's got the button on it.
Okay.
But I bought it for super cheap. I mean, it's just an amazing device. You look at the screen, it just doesn't seem real. It's like there's a page under a screen of glass. It's insane.
Absolutely, and it's so wonderful to be able to share passages.
Right.
Twitter, Facebook. Yeah. Again, the advantage of the free books through Amazon, and it's it doesn't hurt the eyes as much because
no, and that's a really good point. That's a really good point because I actually have the original Kindle, but I'm in love with my iPad. But reading on the iPad, and this goes back to the conversation about Apple and reinvesting in basic R&D stuff. Like reading on your iPad is a disaster, and it's so hard on your eyes. And that iBooks, like I use the Kindle app on my iPad because it's easier on my eyes than going through iBooks. Like iBooks really isn't that good, and it's very difficult to see, and you get a real bad blur on it. So yeah, the Kindle is a really good device, specific for just reading.
I think they even killed Barnes and Noble?
The Nook.
Yeah, the Nook. I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
I have to say something though for Josh. I'm disappointed in you, man. You didn't go with the Nexus.
Just for price to what I wanted to do it with, you can't beat the Kindle. You really can't.
Yeah.
And I'm still looking at like the Nexus 7 or an iPad Mini, but like I said, I have a Galaxy S3. I've got an iPhone 5. I've got a MacBook Air. You know, I can use this for anything else that I need.
Well, you know what I read my books on, and it's a Samsung. This is a paid advertisement.
Kindle, I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It's an incredible little device. I mean, you can throw it in your pocket. You can, you take it with you everywhere.
Absolutely, and you can carry like thousands and thousands of books on it.
You charge it. It's good for a month.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that they were able to, the best way that I could describe it, they were able to hit with books what Apple was able to do with music and the iPod.
Yes, right on. Yep.
We have some people in the room are saying, and you can use all those devices, of course, to stream your video products now too, which is fantastic. Which is the reason I got rid of DirecTV, because I don't need it anymore.
Oh yeah, you can do the Kindle is basically a tablet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. Yeah. You can do all that stuff.
Well, yeah, and especially with the newer models, I've just got the one just for reading books. And like I said, with a MacBook Air, I mean, it's hard that I've had for just about a year right now. It's hard to justify getting anything else, But strictly for reading, I mean, it's incredible. It's got a web browser on it, but it's not good.
No, it's not good.
But I'm not carrying it around for web browsing. That's what I got my phone for, and I've got a almost $2,000 laptop I'm carrying around for.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. I use it as a dedicated reader, and again, it has brought back my love of reading very much. Now, if we're talking magazines, of course, I would go with the iPad.
Right, exactly. Or for playing around. I mean, that's a lot of Apple's products are good for, just playing around and doing sort of surface stuff. But I even told Josh, like any sort of heavy-duty Excel stuff, I can't do it on a Mac. I have to use I have a Toshiba desktop substitute, and I have to do any Excel work or stuff. I have to do it on a PC. I can't do it on my Mac starts freezing and getting choppy, and it just doesn't work well.
Now,
hold on. I recorded that from you, Darren, so I can use it. So I can use it. My Apple sucks. I think that's what he said, right? Teasing you, man.
I think the only time I used a what was it? A Mac, I guess. I did. Well, I used it twice. Whenever I first started in business school, I used it for a web design class and then a Visual Studio. Focus on Visual Basic, but yeah, it wasn't quite the same either. But that's probably, I'm used to being on a Windows Microsoft PC. It's a little bit of a jump to get onto a Mac and start swinging that stuff around there. You get used to it. It's not too tough, but I'm like looking all over. I feel like I needed a seeing eye dog to figure out where I was going. On there.
You use Apple products if you want a beautiful, well-made, quality product. I absolutely wouldn't trade my MacBook Air for anything. But at the same time, if I want to get on the internet, am I going to Safari? No, I'm clicking on Chrome.
Right.
I'm using Gmail. To edit documents. I'm using Google's software.
Which is great, by the way. Google Docs is,
it's fascinating. It's incredible.
Google Docs and Dropbox. It's all I use almost all day long.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Google Docs, Dropbox, and I love Evernote. I really like Evernote.
Drive is really good. I use Drive. Drive has really come a long ways in my opinion too.
It's great.
It's a great product.
It absolutely is. Charlie and I use that whenever we throw stuff up there, and it's great. And I love the fact that the minute you don't always want something to save immediately whenever you make a change. But in general, I like the fact that I don't have to go, oh crap, I didn't save that.
I didn't save it. Yeah, exactly.
It's automatically, boom, it's there. And then you can go back because they've got the archive version there too that you can kick back a few notches if you have to.
And in addition to that, guys, if I do a lot of like data mining and stuff, the cool thing about Google Docs is you can, because forever, like one of the biggest challenges I had in Excel was getting historical data from Yahoo, but scraping it like through an API.
Oh yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, oh, it's a disaster. With Google Docs, it calls directly into Google Finance. You can go all the way back as far as you want on most stocks, and it'll update for you. It's so much easier getting those historical stock returns or stock prices. It just makes it a lot easier. I love it. And like you said, the autosave, that's great too.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I really don't want to take any more of your time tonight. Otherwise, I'll have to have you back in like 2016 before you'll come back on with us again. But
we should talk trading next time, Charlie.
We certainly will talk trading next time. I wanted to experiment with the Google Now and the Hangout, and since the CES show was last week, and you know, me, you, and Josh, we've always gone back and forth about Google, Android. And we've been talking about the wearable stuff. I thought it was just a good time to maybe get on and talk about it. And Roxanne, thanks for joining us from California tonight and meeting everybody here. And
oh, my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. And I hope that we get the chance to do this again and discuss more technology, which is one of my favorite topics.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I love it. You got it. It's good to finally meet Darren and Josh. Charlie keeps telling me about you guys, and I'm like, really? Is Rio on Sesame Street? You got two imaginary friends, don't you? But I finally kind of, sort of got to meet you guys, so that's awesome. And definitely appreciate the time. And Roxanne, your time most appreciated too. It's been fun. Yeah, we got to do this again. This is good stuff.
Yeah, this is fun.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely is right.
So I
do like the hat, Josh. I'm not being facetious when I say that. I do like that hat.
Thank you.
I've got me a Nike one kind of like that, and whenever I saw you wearing it, I almost went and tried to hunt it up.
I'll have to send Josh a StockJocknRoll
beanie hat. There you go.
And maybe for our next technology roundup, we can discuss in more detail the 4K revolution. Which
I was going to ask you guys about
CES.
I was going to ask you guys about the 4K.
We never touched on glass either.
I can't wait. Yeah, no. Those are 4K. I cannot wait for it to be much cheaper than it is.
What is it?
It's still expensive. What are you talking about?
No, but I mean, I don't know what it is.
The 4K?
She is stunning. Yeah. She is stunning. It's all I can say. You thought HD looked good? Basically, it's the next step past HD, which I never thought there would be a next step past HD.
Like HD.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty amazing. The first 4K set I saw was in London when I was there this summer, and it was on a curved screen. And amazing what a curved screen will even do for you when you're watching TV.
They had that at the CES, Charlie.
Yes,
my buddy, my fraternity brother that was there posted a picture of that. So anyway, I jumped in and interrupted.
And when I first heard about a curved screen, I'm like, okay, big deal. What's a curved screen going to do? But when you're sitting in front of a curved screen, it was incredible.
No way.
Yeah.
It adds to some of the depth, doesn't it?
Yes.
As far as
the resolution was, it was better than HD, and we know how good HD is. So, and there was something, I don't know who said this. I don't know if it was, somebody said that Netflix has figured out a way to stream 4K. I don't remember where it came from or who I heard it from. Somebody was talking to me about it. It was Coder Trader at Coder Trader. He tweeted that they figured out a way, Netflix, to stream 4K through for Netflix when it's available, probably maybe this summer for people who have the 4K sets. They figured out a way. And I remember asking him about how much bandwidth was going to take, because I figured the bandwidth would just be enormous. But the way they've been able to, I don't know what's the word is. It's not consolidate, but to, what's the technical term? Just crunch.
Zip the bandwidth, essentially. That's not the technical term, but they
compress it.
Yeah,
yes,
there you go.
That's it. Yeah, the way that they could do that they will be able to provide 4K through Netflix, and I think they'll be the first provider to be able to do that.
So I got a question about that. I already went down the Flava Flav
hold on,
avenue. I need to know, does this mean I'm going to be able to get a hologram of Will I Am?
Oh God!
Somebody in the
in my room here.
Hold on, somebody.
They're like, where did he do that at? That wasn't Super Bowl, was it? That was awesome though when they did that, but I can't remember where they did that.
Somebody in the hey guys, hold on a second. Somebody in the chat room has said that we went off the air. I think someone booted us off or something. I don't know if it's.
Bright guy's in there. He's got. Oh, Sonny just told me that we dropped off too.
I guess we gotta go now.
Oh no,
I could talk tech stuff all night, man.
I'm with you, Darren. I'll be here all night. Now, Charlie.
I'll be here all night too. Trust me. Trust me, Jeff. I could be talking all night long.
Charlie moved his foot and unplugged something, and now we're off here. Yes, ma'am.
That TV that you mentioned that your friend saw, was it Samsung by any chance? Was it a?
You know what? I don't know what the brand is. I have to go back and look at the picture.
Okay.
But I can find it. I'm not sure. I just remember pulling up Facebook like a couple days ago whenever he was out here during CES and saying something about a curved TV, and I just kind of looked at it, but I didn't pay attention to the brand. And I didn't know a whole lot about it back then, whenever he posted it, and there's so much stuff out there. I was telling Charlie the other day, a couple years ago, whenever I was still in Vegas, there's a girl that I was dating out there that's a project manager, and she went to CES, and they had an entire kitchen set up that was magnetized. No heat, no electricity, and they were they put cans of soup on the counter and used magnets to cook the soup.
Oh wow!
I have no idea how they did that, but that she could have been giving me a snow job too, but I don't. I mean, if you're gonna give me a snow job about something, I don't know why I'd be cooking soup with magnets. So I'm assuming that she was probably being honest about that, but I never saw the kitchen. Well, she did take pictures of the kitchen setup, but I never actually saw it. But
they're saying, but Jeff, you were talking about the home thing. They're saying at CES, the big talk of the whole display was the Qualcomm display of a home that's fully integrated on your mobile phone. So like one of the demonstrations they do is you walk into let's just say, you're across the street somewhere and someone breaks in, because there's cameras and like the speakers and stuff.
Right.
And somebody breaks in and you literally see that on your phone and you call the police instantly.
Right.
And the alarm goes off. I mean,
right.
The next move is a smart house. That's
yeah. What's funny, Darren, is there's a link that I threw in Charlie and I's show agenda, which we completely wander off the reservation on every week, but it's just it's just the way we roll, I guess. But no, there was a link that I found about CES that actually talked about that. Now I'm gonna have to see where I put it. Yeah, can the dream of a connected home become a reality?
Darren, that you mentioned that my house is starting to get totally online, because if somebody breaks in, I've got cameras, security system that use my app, and as soon as the alarm goes off, the app will say that the alarm has gone off, and you can see what's going on inside your house. And
no way.
And if anybody's in there, and I can take a picture anytime if I want to look in at my house to see what's going on. And my Nest, which now apparently is a Google item, Google purchased Nest today. As soon as I walk in the house, my house knows I went from auto away to being in, and it will kick in my the temperature that I always would have dialed my thermostat to. It's pretty amazing. Next thing I want is be able to be on my couch and turn lights down or turn my fan on the ceiling fan from my phone. Would that be great? I would love it.
You know what would be great? What would really be great is for you to be on your couch and be able to issue some kind of command that the Cowboys get to the NFC Championship game. Can you get an app that does that, or by like Google Jerry Jones something or other?
Oh, well, I would think Jerry Jones could build that app. All right, guys.
I do see this. Now Serta's even got something out. Sleep Numbers X12 times 12, whatever it is, mattress. Uses sensors to give you the perfect night's sleep.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that too, Jeff. Yeah, it was quite impressive. At a whopping, was it, I think, $8,000?
$8,000, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, I would splurge on the 4K TV. I don't know about that bed. Off my price range, yeah. But you know, the one thing that I find kind of frustrating is, and I firmly believe they place the cart before the horse in terms of 4K, is that number one, there's no 4K players. Number two, very little programming. Broadcasters refuse, okay, to air on 4K because of the bandwidth. It's like you know, it just consumes.
Yeah, you'll have to replace your Blu-ray player with a 4K player. And
exactly. And so what's the purpose? Here's my question.
Right.
What's the purpose of investing so much money, like what, $4,000 or $5,000 on a 4K set, when one, we're not going to be able to see any 4K programs, as far as I know.
But you know what, Roxanne? We said that 10 years ago when HD came. The exact
Blu-ray.
The exact same thing. We're like, I love HD. I can't afford it yet because it costs $3,500 to get a TV. My first Samsung TV I bought was probably about 8 years ago, and I think I paid $2,200 for a 46-inch. And now you can pick up a 50-inch for $500 down at Walmart. So I think the same thing will happen over the next 5 years again. That in 5 years there will be people that will the price will come down, and we'll figure out the bandwidth issues. If Netflix has already figured it out, it will just evolve over time again.
Exactly. In that I agree. But for the short term, if I'm thinking of a year from now, I'm keeping my LED TV. I am not going to upgrade to a 4K.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I would be with you too.
Now you guys are making me want to watch House of Cards on 4K on Netflix.
That's a great show.
Great show.
Yes, I'm eager to watch season 2. I'm hooked.
Yeah, me too. I loved it.
All right, so we've got a question about what is 4K exactly? For the question in the chat room for everybody out there that's wondering.
I don't know. I had the same question. So.
Well, basically, it's the resolution in the pixels. So today, I think you have 1080p in your HD TV. It started like at 720p, but now most TVs, can broadcast at a resolution of 820p, I believe. Well, 4K is basically 4,000 pixels, which is almost about 3 times.
4 times. 4 times the resolution.
4 times the resolution of what we're already looking at, and
wow.
It's stunning.
Wow.
Absolutely stunning. Yes, I saw a video clip at CES from home. I wish I had been there, but it's not open for the general public. But I saw the Samsung, the Curve TV. I don't know if you saw it, Charlie.
I did not see it. I didn't know Samsung had one. I know LG had a Curve. I think the one I saw in London was an LG.
Okay, Samsung has a curved one.
Okay.
If you look it up, if you Google it, is a U9000 model. Hot off the press.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that.
Comes in 55, 65,
yeah, I see it.
and I think 75 inches.
It does. Samsung unveiled its first curved TV. So see, as more and more begin to develop them, it will help bring prices down on them. But I would not be shocked 5 years from now I will have a 4K set, maybe even 3 years. But I'm with you, Roxanne. In the next year or so, I won't make that leap. But I think in 5 years, we'll all be on 4K.
I like that. I like that curved TV. I just googled it. I like that.
It's really interesting when you sit in front of it. That's where you get the amazing effect of the curved part of it, and I can't explain it until you sit down in front of one of them.
That's awesome.
Wow. Well, if it looks that good, though, I got to tell you, the other trend that was talked about a lot at CES, and I don't know a whole lot, is the 3D printers. And I'm talking about 3D printers. I can actually make food, okay? And I want to sample some of those chocolates.
Yeah. The only thing with 3D printing, though, I don't know if I want industrial grade chemicals in my bedroom. You know?
Right.
Like, I'll leave that to the professionals.
I go to McDonald's to get my industrial grade chemicals.
Yeah.
Oh.
We need to talk about you going to McDonald's too, Charlie.
Which part? My gosh, I spend so much time at McDonald's. It's crazy. My boy is he's all McDonald's, and I have to go to McDonald's every time I'm with him. And when I go on vacation with him, it's McDonald's every day. But hey, I was the same way when I was 15.
Well, I wonder if these 3D printers, there's one in particular, and Charlie, you may want to Google this one too. It's called the Jet 3D, and it can print oh gosh, I think it was chocolates or pastry, some kind of food. But that was very interesting because I've never heard of such a thing before.
So how does this not become a serious, or how has it not become a serious problem for counterfeiting?
I think it will be. I actually, to take it a step further, I think it's probably even a bigger problem for national security. Because if you saw that Vice TV episode with the kid in Austin, he's a law student at UT.
Oh, yes, I saw that with the gun making.
He was selling guns.
Yeah.
And he had $1 million business out of his garage selling gun, plastic plastic type of material.
No serial numbers either. Untraceable, right?
Exactly.
Wow. Mm.
Yep. But the funny thing is I think that I just don't see a time where we all just have like 3D printers in our garage. I think that'll still be left to like businesses and people who really know what they're doing with that stuff. Because I mean that's serious. I mean that's not it's not like a toaster or a microwave.
Right. No, I'm with you. I'm totally with So where did this come? Where did the genesis of that idea come from, and who developed this?
That's why I don't know. That's a really good question. I always wondered the origin of it. I don't know though.
I read online that you can actually create like shoes and possibly guns. And
oh yeah, they've done it. Yeah, they've done it with the guns. Yeah. That's what Darren was talking about.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think to me, like the really upside of it is that guess what? If I'm a little guy and I want to create a small business and I want to manufacture a product, I can have someone, like a CAD or engineer or somebody like that, draw up the blueprint. I can send it to some guy in Chicago or San Francisco or wherever. He prints out the model for me, and if I like it, I like the way it looks. Guess what? I'm in business now for a fraction of the cost that it used to be. And I think because
you're doing all your own production at that point, and you don't have to mass produce yet until you start to market it. Exactly. Then you get successful. Then let's go negotiate production. And look, I've got the business model. I've got the product. What can you do for me?
There's somebody in the chat room, Darren, that kind of mentioned something along those same lines. They said the Smithsonian TV showed an example of someone going to the Forbidden City, scanning in printed portions of the artwork in 3D, and then they would create it in 3D and study it somewhere else. Like that was a kind of a legitimate use of how it worked for them.
Wow, that's incredible. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, well, those 3D printers are way too expensive, and I don't think how many even are for consumer use. I think most of them are just, I think they're primarily are used for, isn't it, building prototypes for the medical, engineering, and automotive industries?
Yeah, they're using a lot of medical companies use it to like, I forgot, I think they're using it for transplants. I saw an interview with a lady who owns a 3D printing shop in Chicago, and I think they're using it for like transplants and all kinds of different replacements. I mean, it's really cool stuff. It's an awesome technology.
Well, I think Jeff found how Jerry Jones can build a 3D running back. Or a quarterback, just, copy Kaepernick and put him on our team next year.
Hey, you know what? You know what's funny about that, right? Is you look at this Patriots team, and what Belichick has done with so little, it really, to me, shines a light on Jason Garrett. Like, dude, you have way more talent than that, and you can't get anywhere near the productivity that Belichick's getting with a bunch of Ivy League guys and mid-major kids.
Who are those dudes that play for the Patriots? You got Tom Brady, and that's it. Danny Woodhead was running for the Chargers, and he wasn't even that good. I mean, he was decent. He was a hard-nosed lunch pail guy, but they
didn't even need Brady for to win. They just kept running, hand the ball off.
They gave it to a guy from Oregon that punched the guy from Boise State that nobody wanted.
LeGarrette Blount.
LeGarrette Blount, yeah. Nobody wanted him. Belichick said, "Guess what? I see value there, and I'll use him, to get to the AFC championship."
I haven't been hired to be the court or the judge or the jury or the executioner. I don't care.
Right.
You can pass your judgment. I'm here to win football games.
Exactly.
And he doesn't give a rat's ass what anybody thinks about it. He's going to do what he's got to do, and Jerry does that to an extent too, but he just made stupid decisions about a lot of it. Anyway, I digress.
Well, we at least we got the jock part of Stock, Jock, and Roll tonight now.
Right.
Oh, yeah. No, he's talking about, I can get real fired up.
I'll be getting real fired up right there with you.
All right.
I'm going to go and get off of here, you guys.
Yes. I don't want to take any more of your time, please. Thank you all for coming on. And
I enjoyed it.
Jeff and we got to go actually talk a little bit about the market, here in a little bit too. So we got one more hour of our show, so maybe we'll talk about the market some. But next time we'll have you on. We'll talk some tech and we'll talk the market and some stocks.
All right, cool. Thanks, Charlie. Nice meeting you guys.
Yes.
Darren, thank you very much. Awesome to meet you, Josh. Thank you, Roxanne. Great, what a great time. You guys got to come back. You guys got to come back and see us.
I enjoyed it.
Again.
Yeah. I had a wonderful time. Yes, and thank you so much for the invite, Charlie and Jeff. Yes, and
yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Fun stuff. Very fun stuff. Very interesting. Always love this. Always like to be able to round table like this. So
yes, and you can study Josh's chart patterns back there on his wall. I saw them.
Oh, see that?
Yes. Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Perfect.
All right, bye, guys. Thanks.
Thank you all. Thank you all. It was great. It was absolutely great. Loved it.
Bye.
What the heck was that?
Nice work, people. Well done. Very solid work.
Another day, another opportunity to impress everyone.
Well, guys, I think we've all learned a valuable lesson here today.
And another adventure draws to a close.
When I say good, you say bye. Good?
Welcome home. You're listening to the best non-professional advice show on the planet. On your home for overnight low-back session. This is the Stock, Jock, and Roll Show on daytradingradio.com.